Crown is considering whether hate crime charges should also be laid. I'm Charlene Close.
680 News Time, 3:37. A pedestrian has been hit and killed in an apparent hit and run on the westbound 407 in Markham. A 53-year-old man was hit at McCowan Road just after 6 this morning. OPP Sergeant Kerry Schmidt says the driver of a tanker truck did not stop.
If you are that driver, please come forward. We certainly need to find out what happened, what took place, and we're working on the circumstances of what brought that person down onto the travel lanes of the westbound 407.
Police now say they're looking for a white tanker truck with a blue and yellow logo on the side. Witnesses are also being asked to come forward.
680 News Time, 3:38. It's a battle of two tanking teams in the U.S. Capitol tonight as the Raptors complete a back-to-back. More Taro.
Well, let's face it, this season can't come to an end soon enough. The Raptors have been a real tough watch as they're trying to secure the best odds of landing that first overall pick. And the best part about tonight's game in Washington is that when it's over, we'll be that much closer to the offseason. The Raptors were smoked by the Spurs 24 hours ago and currently hold a 7.5% of getting that number one pick, while the Wizards are a lowly 15-55, the worst record in the NBA, as they're also making a play for Duke standout Cooper Flagg. On the injury front, the Raptors will not have RJ Barrett or Chris Boucher. Sportsnet 1 will have tip-off at 7 o'clock. Both teams have lost 4 in a row. From the Sports Center, I'm Alex Xero.
680 News Time, 3:39.
Supporting Canadian businesses has never been more important. That's why Canada Post is committed to making it easier to ship Canadian with our best rates ever. Right now, your business will save up to 70% on expedited shipping and returns. Plus, as a Toronto-based business, you can access rates as low as $3.50 for local packages. It's time to shop Canadian, ship Canadian. Learn more about our best rates at canadapost.ca/shipcanadian.
Enpro says there's no change coming in the price of gas at midnight, and we'll check on traffic in 60 seconds.
680 News Time, 3:40.
Melissa Etheridge. Joss Stone. April 23rd, OLG stage at Fallsview Casino. Get tickets now at Ticketmaster. Don't miss Melissa Etheridge and Joss Stone.
Air Transat presents Two Friends on Vacation in Italy.
Well, it's almost time to pack up and go home.
But we just got here.
We've been here for 2 weeks.
Seriously?
Yeah, we've been to 5 museums, visited 4 churches, made pasta from scratch, done a food tour and a bike tour, and had a private opera class with a famous mezzo-soprano.
Wow, time really flies by.
With direct round-trip flights to Europe starting at $549 with carry-on baggage and a meal included, you don't want to let this offer fly by. Conditions apply. Air Transat. Travel moves us.
680 News Time, 3:41.
Time for Rogers Xfinity Internet, traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by United Way. A new problem on the 401 westbound. It's approaching the Allen and the Express. Left lane is now blocked because of a collision. Delays through the city on the westbound 401 from Warden, alternately Express and Collectors to Dixon. Slows again by the 410 and the Collectors and through Highway 25. Just getting an update from the MTO about this problem on the northbound 400 approaching Aurora Road. The 2 right lanes are now blocked because of this collision, and there's some debris on the highway here as well. Northbound 400 is jammed approaching King Road to approaching Aurora Road. Eastbound on the 401, it's a slow go from south of Pearson to Leslie, alternately Express and Collectors. Another delay Victoria Park to Kennedy Collectors, and then slow in Durham from Liverpool, Express and Collectors to east of Salem. Southbound 400, that gets jammed up from just south of Finch to the 401 ramps, and a slow go southbound 404 DVP from south of Finch to York Mills. Westbound Gardner, a delay from Jarvis to Strawn, slows again from Kipling on to the 427 ramp. And it's getting busy westbound QEW from the 427 to west of Cawthra, then Ford Drive to Trafalgar, and from Bronte to west of Guelph Line. On city streets, Ellesmere is closed in both directions between Markham Road and Gander. That's for a collision investigation. And west of there, there's also a collision northbound on Birchmount at Ellesmere. It's blocking the left lane, so a heavy backup northbound Birchmount as you approach Ellesmere. In Markham, westbound 16th Avenue is slow heading towards the 404. That's due to a single lane collision. And Hamilton still have this closure of Highway 5 on the west side of Highway 6. So all lanes on Highway 5 are shut down between Millgrove and Rockchapel for a collision investigation. United Way needs your help fighting poverty in the Greater Toronto Area any way they can. Learn how your donation can make a difference at unitedwaygt.org. And now with the forecast, here's meteorologist Rob Haswell.
Thanks, Gary. It's a windy one out there, and that continues to be the problem, or at least the major problem for us, as that wind, of course, has been gusting upwards of 35, 45 kilometers per hour on a pretty regular basis, with the occasional wind gust closer to 50, even had one around 60 kilometers per hour. So please be careful, both hands on the wheel. Those roadways are also a little wet. We've got a little mix of rain and snow going on right now. We'll see a few more flurries late evening and overnight tonight as we cool down to an overnight low near 0. Likely flurries on a bit of a windy Tuesday and a high near 5, and a few more flurries on the way for Wednesday. Once again, our overnight low near 0.
680 News Time, 3:43.
The head of Canada's auto parts manufacturing industry says media reports that the White House is considering narrowing some upcoming tariffs doesn't bring any comfort. Flavio Volpe says the new tariffs will be a major hit to the auto industry on both sides of the border.
We are just clearly demonstrating how heavily invested Canadian part suppliers are across the U.S. and how many Americans they employ, and how many Americans would be out of work if they fumble through this like they planned.
April 2nd is set to bring new reciprocal tariffs from the U.S. in addition to the delayed tariffs on some Canadian and Mexican goods. Trump had also floated the idea of a separate sector-specific tariff rollout on the same day.
680 News Time, 3:44.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel John Murray of the Salvation Army. For the first time in our history, we're asking you to donate 25% less. Yes, you heard that right. With tariffs looming and economic uncertainty growing, more Canadians than ever need help. But if there's one thing we know, it's that Canadians show up for each other when it matters most. We can't ask for more, so we're asking for less. Visit salvationarmy.ca and donate 25% less today.
Hi, it's Eva Fragiscatos for Come From Away, welcoming you to The Rock. Come From Away is the global smash hit musical based on the remarkable true story of what happened in Gander, Newfoundland on 9/11. The ensemble cast will bring you to tears with their powerful voices, and the band will have you on your feet, wishing you were drinking Screech and kissing a fish. It's a musical unlike any other. Don't miss the final extension of Come From Away at the Royal Alexandra Theatre with the final performance on May 4th. It'll make you proud to be a Canadian. Tickets start at $49, available at mervish.com.
The more you listen, the more you'll know. 680 News Radio.
Light rain, 4 degrees in downtown Toronto. Good afternoon. I'm Alex Bloomfield.
And I'm Laura Carney. Here are the top stories this hour.
Major policy promises from the Conservatives and NDP leaders on the first full day of the federal campaign as Mark Carney sells himself as the best to manage the trade war. Details at toronto.citynews.ca. Liquidation sales are underway nationwide at all but 6 Hudson's Bay and Saks Fifth Avenue stores. And OPP now hunting for a white tractor-trailer combo with a blue and yellow logo on the side in connection with the death of a man walking along the 407 this morning in Markham.
Time now for sports.
From Sportsnet, 590 The Fan, Alex Sixero.
Alex, after Saturday's disappointing loss in Nashville, Leafs head coach Craig Berube running a pretty intense practice today. He even stopped a few drills to drop a few F-bombs.
Execution. Yeah, that's all. Didn't like the execution. Passing wasn't very sharp. It's just the mindset coming in there. A day off sometimes, a little sleepy. Execution's not good.
Leafs host the Philadelphia Flyers tomorrow. Scott Laughton will play his former team for the first time. He'll be on third-line wing with Max Domi and Nick Robertson. The Vancouver Canucks, the only Canadian team in action tonight. They're in New Jersey. Canucks are 5 points back of a playoff spot in the West. To basketball, it's the battle of tanking teams in Washington as the Wizards host the Raptors this evening. Toronto without RJ Barrett and Chris Boucher. Sportsnet 1 with tip-off at 7. Right now, we're tracking Women's March Madness, the round of 32, and late fourth quarter, number 1 Texas out in front comfortably, leading Illinois 65-48. Earlier today, number 2 NC State off to the Sweet 16 as they beat Michigan State 83-49. And the Blue Jays are back in Canada, getting set for Thursday's home and season opener against the Baltimore Orioles. The Jays will hold workouts tomorrow and Wednesday down at Rogers Centre. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca.
3 key severance pay facts you must know with Lior Samfiru from employmentlawyer.ca.
Fact number 1, a full severance package isn't just 1 or 2 weeks per year of service. It can be as much as 24 months' pay. Fact number 2, you don't have to accept a severance offer on the spot or by your employer's deadline. Thirdly, you are likely owed severance if you are laid off, fired for cause, or even a contractor. When you lose your job, don't settle for what your employer wants to pay you. Get what the law says you should have. My experienced team has helped tens of thousands of employees get their compensation when they were wrongfully dismissed. Before you accept any severance package, call me and discover why my employment law firm is the most positively reviewed firm in Canada.
Contact employment lawyer Lior Samfiru today. Get the advice you need and the compensation you deserve. Visit employmentlawyer.ca. That's employmentlawyer.ca.
680 News Time, 3:48.
The Trump administration is dealing with an embarrassing leak after Atlantic editor-in-chief Jeffrey Goldberg was accidentally added to a group chat with top security officials. CNN's Alex Marquardt reports the group was discussing an airstrike in Yemen.
The strike started. Goldberg looked up on Twitter, and he started to see explosions happening in Yemen, and that's when he knew it was true. And that's when these officials essentially started celebrating. Cliff, the CIA director, saying a good start. Mike Waltz, this national security advisor, responds with several emojis, as does Steve Witkoff, with 2 hands praying, a flexed bicep, and 2 American flags. So everyone approving of what just happened and celebrating. The National Security Council has not pushed back on this at all. They said that this chain was in fact real.
The National Security Council says it is reviewing how an inadvertent number was added to that chain. The people who run Heathrow Airport in the UK are defending their response to last week's fire that shut down Europe's busiest air hub. More than 1,300 flights were cancelled Friday after a fire destroyed one of the 3 electrical substations at Heathrow. Britain's energy system operator says the airport had enough power from other sources to keep running through the day, but Heathrow executives said the airport had to ground flights due to the time it took to safely switch to the other substations. The British government has ordered a full investigation. In 60 seconds, a look at the roads and the extended forecast.
680 News Time, 3:50.
Welcome to the Rock if you come from away. Come From Away is the global sensation the Toronto Star calls joyous, uplifting, and life-affirming. And now it's been extended one final time and must leave Toronto on May 4th. Experience the homegrown hit that will restore your faith in humanity and make you proud to be a Canadian. See Come From Away one last time. Final performance May 4th. Book at mervish.com.
It's the Reliance Home Comfort Spring Trade-In and Save event. For a limited time, get $1,200 in credit towards a new furnace or air conditioner, your choice. That's right, $1,200 to upgrade to a new energy-efficient furnace or AC when you trade in your old equipment. Any age, any make, any condition. And with over 140,000 five-star reviews, you're not just getting a great deal, you're getting great service. This offer won't last long, so if you're ready to trade in and save, call on Reliance. Conditions apply. See website for details.
680 News Time, 3:51.
Time for Rogers Xfinity Internet, traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by TSC. Westbound on the 401, just before the Allen and the Express, the left lane remains closed, and this is due to a collision. Tow trucks on scene. And westbound 401 is busy through the GTA. Delays west of Brock Street to Salem, and then it's slow from Kennedy, alternately express and collectors to Dixon. A bit busy by the 410 and the collectors, and again through Highway 25. Northbound on the 400, approaching Aurora Road, 2 right lanes are blocked, and this is due to a collision. So these delays only getting worse. It's now jammed from the King en route to this collision approaching Aurora Road. Northbound DVP, that's a slow go from Bloor to York Mills, and then a minor delay on the northbound 404 through Steeles. Eastbound 401, busy from south of Pearson through to Victoria Park and the Express and to Kennedy and the collectors, and then delays in Durham from White's Express, Liverpool collectors to east of Salem. Southbound 400, that gets busy as you approach Shepherd onto the 401 ramps. And if you're traveling city streets, eastbound Ellesmere has partially reopened. Westbound traffic is getting through, and eastbound traffic now down to a single lane east of Markham Road, and this is due to a collision. Still a collision reported northbound on Birchmount at Ellesmere. That's blocking the left lane and causing a delay. The collision in Markham, westbound 16th Avenue at the 404, that's cleared, so those delays are looking a lot better. Now, west of the city in Hamilton, Highway 5 remains closed for a section west of Highway 6. All lanes shut down between Millgrove and Rock Chapel, and that's for a collision investigation. Indulge in the TSC Jewelry Showcase and save 40% on 6 stunning pieces, only at tsc.ca. Exciting offers every day. And with the extended forecast, here's Rob Haswell.
Thank you very much. It is going to continue windy tonight and into tomorrow. Tuesday's high near 5 with a strong west wind, 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. Still a few rain showers or flurries possible. We'll have a few flurries again on Wednesday with a high near 3. Overnight, we'll dip down to around -2 heading into Thursday morning. And Thursday finally brings some sunshine back into the forecast, becoming cloudy, though, by Thursday night. High near 8 on Thursday will feel rather pleasant, but we drop to a high near 4 on Friday. Should get some rain showers during the day Friday, and then Friday night, any leftover precipitation will likely translate into some freezing rain as we dip to an overnight low near 0. So that's something we'll watch for Friday night into Saturday morning. In the meantime, it's all about the wind for tonight. Please take care out there. We'll dip to an overnight low near 0.
This extended forecast is brought to you by Rexdale Hyundai.
Looking for a Hyundai? I'm your guy. It's the reopening of Rexdale Hyundai. Need an oil change? Just drive up. No appointment needed. Visit rexdalehyundai.ca today.
Coming up at 4 o'clock, how the major party leaders kicked off the first full day of the federal campaign, and an update from OPP into a fatal pedestrian incident in Markham.
680 News Time, 3:54.
Psst, Paul, you up?
Yeah.
Why, Paul?
Oh, I can't stop thinking about how much money I spent on this new mattress. I keep worrying it wasn't worth it.
It wasn't, Paul. You should have got the new mattress from IKEA like me. So affordable, so comfy, cozy, so much support for my aching back.
Then why can't you sleep?
Because I love to talk to my friend Paul.
Visit IKEA today and start sleeping better tomorrow with everything you need for the bedroom of your dreams.
Avoid the problems before you get there.
Ask your smart speaker to play 680 News Radio Toronto.
A 19-year-old man has been charged in connection with a murder at a downtown Toronto condo. Officers were called to the 49th floor of the ICE condo tower at 12 York Street around 6 last night, where they found a 16-year-old boy shot dead. Police say they only made that discovery because the suspect came forward.
This happened early morning, and that in the afternoon of Sunday, he turned himself in.
Police divers are now searching the waters of Toronto Harbour for a gun. 19-year-old Elijah Chapman has been charged with second-degree murder. And a court is hearing arguments today from a Toronto supervised consumption site challenging a Ford government law that will see 10 of those sites shut down next week.
It was last December the Ford government passed a law which will see 10 safe consumption sites close next week. They're deemed to be too close to schools and daycares. One of the sites, though, is looking for an injunction to stop this, and they're in court today. Bill St. Clair is the CEO of the neighborhood group Community Services.
More than 10 sites are closing in just a matter of days, and people's lives and health will be at risk. So we're asking the courts to stop that, to take a second look at this legislation.
Because people will say, Bill, I don't want needles around my kid's daycare or my kid's school. I mean, is that a fair argument? Is that a reasonable argument?
We dispose of the needles properly. They don't end up outside. In fact, closing them is going to mean there's going to be more of them outside on the street, in the laneway, and God forbid, in parks.
The Ford government has argued crime goes up around the safe consumption sites. This is a 2-day hearing. The judge expected to rule tomorrow. Richard Southern, Queen's Park.
In 60 seconds, we will check in with Richard Detman.
680 News Time, 3:56.
86 deliveries made.
11 friends' houses moved.
9 renos completed, and the next one on its way.
Measure your Tundra's capability in memories, not just mileage. It's time to Toyota. Lease a 2025 Tundra 4x4 Crewmax SR from $150 weekly for 36 months at 4.79% with $5,800 down. Visit shoptoyota.ca or your local Ontario Toyota dealer today.
Kalani Kitchen and Bath, how can I help you?
I'm looking for a Riabel touchless kitchen faucet in brushed gold. Do you have it in stock?
Yes, we actually have all the gold faucets in stock.
Even the Riabel shower kit with matching faucet?
Yep, we've got that too.
Thanks. And by the way, why is the sign at your Barrie location upside down?
Well, we just wanted to see if you were paying attention. Kalani Kitchen and Bath. Visit kalani.ca for your nearest location.
And now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute. Here's Richard Detman.
U.S. President Donald Trump says he will announce tariffs on auto imports in the coming days, ahead of a broader package, but also indicates countries will receive breaks from the tariffs he'll reveal next week. Trump also said he planned to proceed with sector-specific tariffs on lumber and semiconductors, quote, down the road, without elaborating. Earlier in the day, he repeated his threat to impose duties on pharmaceutical imports in, quote, the very near future. The remarks are sowing further confusion about his plans. The tariff war is weighing on Canadian consumer confidence. A weekly poll puts it at the lowest in 2 years. The Bloomberg Nanos Canadian Confidence Index is at 47.4, dropping 1 point from a week earlier. Readings below 50 indicate net negative views. Respondents' views about their own pocketbook remain slightly positive at 53.8. The leading Chinese automaker BYD says its 2024 worldwide sales topped $100 billion U.S., beating Tesla. BYD's total sales were $4.3 million thanks to hybrids. Its stock's up about 50% this year. Officials indicate the coming U.S. tariffs won't be as broad as first threatened. That's helped stocks rally today, that and bargain hunting. TSX is up 1.25%, 316 points. The Dow's up 630. The S&P up 96, the benchmark at 57.63, and the Nasdaq's up more than 2%, 405 points. At the Business Center, I'm Richard Detman.
What's your portfolio's most valuable asset? It may be your financial advisor. Visit dynamic.ca/advice to see why advice matters.
The Calgary Police Recruiting Team is in town. A policing career in Calgary offers short commutes, affordable housing, and best of all, paid training from day one. Come see the Calgary Police at the Security, Police, and Fire Expo in Toronto on March 27th, or attend an info session. You can also get a step ahead in the application process by completing written testing. Visit join.calgarypolice.ca to register and learn more about a career with the Calgary Police Service.
A little heads up from Sleep Country. Over the years, your body's been shedding kilograms of straight into your aging mattress. That's not even counting millions of crawling little critters. Oh, there should have been a there. When your mattress or pillow is loaded with this much time to switch. During the Time to Switch event at Sleep Country, get a Kingsdown twin mattress at the low price of $649. But hurry up, this offer ends soon. Restrictions apply. Speak to a sleep expert for details. Only at Sleep Country.
680 News Time, 4 o'clock.
Number one for breaking news, traffic, and weather. 680 News Radio, Toronto.
It's Monday, March 24th. Good afternoon. I'm Laura Carney.
I'm Alex Bloomfield. Here's what's making news this hour.
Federal party leaders are on the trail for their first full day of campaigning in the election. Tax cuts, housing promises, and Canada's historic ties with the U.S. are all in focus.
Hudson's Bay kicks off its liquidation sales at all but 6 of its locations.
Probably the busiest I maybe have seen it.
Shoppers are packing the stores looking for bargains.
A supervised consumption site is in court today looking to have a Ford government law overturned, which would close 10 of the sites next week.
If this is healthcare, without it, people have risk of death.
Scott Lawton moves up to third line wing tomorrow when the Leafs host the Philadelphia Flyers, and it's the Tankathon in Washington as the Raptors take on the Wizards. Sports at 15.
The closing bell finds North American markets sharply higher, 1% for the TSX, 2% for the Nasdaq, on signs that upcoming tariffs won't be as broad as first threatened. Business at 26.
680 News Time, 401.
Time for Rogers Xfinity Internet traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by The Simple Investor. A couple of collisions on the major routes. On the westbound 401, approaching the Allen in the Express, the left lane is blocked. It's a slow go westbound 401 from west of Brock Street to Salem, and then busy from Kennedy, alternately express and collectors to Dixon. Slows again, Dixie to the 410 in the collectors, and slow go as you head past Highway 25. Northbound on the 400, approaching Aurora Road, the 2 right lanes are blocked. That's the other collision. Getting busy northbound 400 from Finch to Steeles, but then it's a wall of traffic from the King en route to this collision approaching Aurora Road. That's about an 8-kilometer backup, so consider an alternate route. It looks like northbound Weston is probably the busiest, so maybe try Jane or Keel instead. And on city streets, we had a call from a traffic spotter at Burnham Thorpe and the West Mall. The traffic lights are flashing red at that intersection, so that's causing delays as well. And then in Hamilton, there's still a full closure of Highway 5 west of Highway 6. So all lanes on Highway 5 are shut down between Millgrove and Rockchapel, and that's a collision investigation. Is now a good time to buy investment real estate? Yes. At The Simple Investor, they make sure you get rent every month, have no tenant interaction, and no repair costs. Find out more at thesimpleInvestor.com. And now with the forecast, here's meteorologist Rob Haswell.
All right, thanks, Carrie. We'll continue windy as we go through the remainder of the day today and tonight. Still a few flurries in the forecast. Strong southwest wind turning west as we get into the day on Tuesday. Still a few flurries and maybe rain showers in the forecast Tuesday with a high near 5. At last check, we are seeing pretty frequent wind gusts in excess of 35 to 45 kilometers per hour. In fact, the last one, 42 at Pearson. Mostly cloudy, 5 degrees. We'll drop to an overnight low near 0.
680 News Time 4:03.
Canada votes 2025.
With 5 weeks to get their messages out, federal party leaders are wasting no time moving from slogans to major policy promises.
680's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney has a rundown of the first full day of campaigning.
Liberal leader Mark Carney spoke in Gander, Newfoundland, the community that took in thousands of Americans when flights were grounded during 9/11. Amid our trade war with the U.S., Carney's tapping into those ties and vowing to stand up for Canada, but he likens the relationship to being brothers.
We don't always see eye to eye, but when push comes to shove, we're there for each other.
Carney suggests President Trump is awaiting the outcome of the election to engage further with the government. Meanwhile, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre in Brampton promising a middle-class tax cut, reducing the lowest income bracket by 2.25%, which is more than the 1% cut being promised by the Liberals. The NDP's Jagmeet Singh in Montreal vowing to build 100,000 rent-controlled homes by 2035 on public land.
Homes that are truly affordable, where you can actually afford to call your own.
We're also finding out there will be 2 leaders' debates held April 16th and 17th in Montreal. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
680 News Time 4:04. Big-time blowout sales are now underway at all but 6 Hudson's Bay stores across the country. 680's Phil Martino is checking in on the bittersweet shopping frenzy from the Fairview Mall location. Phil.
Laura, some of the shelves are already bare here at Hudson's Bay at Fairview Mall, one of the locations that will be permanently closing. Shopper Karen says she picked up 2 pillows at about 60% off.
Probably the busiest I maybe have seen it in some time. I don't shop here a lot, but yeah, it's quite busy.
Toronto resident Frank says he came to have a look for any deals.
Well, one last chance probably. It's kind of sad in a way, but department stores are like dinosaurs, right? They're from a day when you used to take the streetcar downtown to go your shopping. They're before malls, before big box stores. So.
Hudson's Bay is hoping to wrap up this liquidation by mid-June. 6 stores that are not part of the liquidation sales include the Bay stores at Yorkdale and Hillcrest Mall and the flagship on Yonge Street in Toronto. Reporting live from Fairview Mall, Phil Martino.
680 News Time 4:05. A 53-year-old pedestrian has been struck and killed walking along Highway 407 in Markham. It's believed he was hit just after 6 this morning near McCowan Road. OPP Sergeant Kerry Schmidt says the vehicle kept going.
We do believe he was struck by a vehicle in that area, westbound Highway 407 at McCowan Road. There are no vehicles on scene right now, and if you have information, if you can assist, please call the Highway 407 OPP.
And police are now looking for what they're calling a vehicle of interest, a white tanker truck with a blue and yellow logo on its side. Investigators still trying to determine why the victim was on the highway.
Toronto police have identified the city's latest murder victim as a 16-year-old boy. Detective Sergeant Mike Taylor says officers were called to the 49th floor of the ICE condo tower at 12 York Street Sunday evening.
And they located a male who had an obvious sign of a gunshot wound, and he was declared deceased at the scene. He was not transported from the scene.
Detectives believe the boy was shot earlier in the day and were alerted to the body after the suspect turned himself in. They're calling this an isolated incident as the victim and suspect were allegedly friends. 19-year-old Elijah Chapman has been charged with second-degree murder.
The head of the Ajax Library Board is trying to assure the public that its branches are safe despite an attack on a woman wearing a hijab over the weekend. A woman was in the main branch on Harwood Avenue over the noon hour Saturday when another woman tried to remove her hijab while pouring an unknown liquid on it. Police allege the suspect then tried to set the hijab on fire. The board chair tells Omni News security stepped in when they heard the woman screaming.
We do not have incidents like this happening in our library. It's a safe and welcoming space. We work very hard to keep it so.
25-year-old Kaylee Ann Frere of Ajax is charged with 2 counts of assault with a weapon and 3 counts of failing to comply with a probation order.
Officials with one of the 10 supervised injection sites slated to close next week are in court today, hoping a judge will block a recent provincial order. 680's Richard Southern is at Queen's Park.
The Ford government passed a law last year that will close safe consumption sites starting next week, which are located within 200 meters of schools or daycares. But a legal challenge is being brought by one of those safe consumption sites, looking for the judge to issue an injunction to keep these sites open. Bill St. Clair is the CEO of that site called the Neighborhood Group.
What we're arguing, though, is that this is healthcare, that without it, people have risk of death. Of course, if you aren't using safely and legally indoors, you're using unsafely and illegally outdoors.
Bill, the Premier has argued that crime goes up around these sites.
Well, the research shows that actually crime goes down around these sites. But I understand people's concerns. And if the province wants to help to do it in an even more safe way, we're so happy to talk to the province about how we could make it even safer.
It's a 2-day court hearing. The judge expected to rule on a possible injunction tomorrow. Richard Southern, Queen's Park.
After throwing away 2 points in Nashville, the Maple Leafs were back on the practice ice today, and the coach saw a few things he didn't like.
Craig Berube ran a pretty intense skate and even stopped a few drills to drop some profanity.
Execution. Yeah, that's all. Didn't like the execution. Passing wasn't very sharp. It's just the mindset coming in there. A day off sometimes, a little sleepy. Execution's not good.
Points are at a premium, and with the Leafs letting one slip away against the Preds, Toronto is now 2 points back of first place Florida with 12 games to go. The Philadelphia Flyers will be in town tomorrow, which means Scott Laughton will face his old team for the first time.
Yeah, it's going to be weird, but hopefully beat him.
Laughton believes Saturday's game was his best in a Toronto sweater. He'll move up to third-line wing with Max Domi and Nick Robertson. From the Sports Center, I'm Alex Xero.
680 News Time 409.
This portion of 680 News Radio is brought to you by the Herzig Eye Institute.
Hi, I'm Terry Tabb, co-founder of the Herzig Eye Institute. Have you noticed superheroes don't become superheroes until they take off their glasses? Look, up in the sky. Is it a bird? Is it a plane? If you can't tell, Herzig is here to help. Our eye surgeons are world-class. Our technology the most advanced. Google Herzig Eye Institute. Call us for a consultation. There's no charge. Look after yourself. Promise me.
Coming up in 60 seconds, traffic and weather together, including northbound 400 approaching Aurora Road. 2 right lanes are blocked.
680 News Time 410.
Where style meets performance, a new journey begins. Genesis delivers bold elegance and cutting-edge innovation.
From courtside to luxury rides, go where the basketball stars shine, on the road.
Visit genesismississauga.ca today for an experience centered around you.
You're hurt, and injuries have changed your life. You're not working, can't help your family, and feel like your life is slipping away. Hi, I'm David Himmelfarb, Himpro Managing Partner. Our team of highly rated lawyers has over 40 years of experience fighting insurance companies and winning major settlements for clients. Visit himpro.ca today to experience the Himpro advantage. That's himpro.ca. Himpro, serious results for serious injuries fast.
Himpro. Hi, it's Scott McGilvery here. Are you ready to experience the power of passive real estate investing? Now investors across Canada can join me and my expert team in this exclusive opportunity. Visit ScottMcGilveryRealEstateFund.com today to get started.
680 News Time 411.
Time for Rogers Xfinity Internet traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by Cars for Kids. Westbound on the 401, just before the Allen and the Express, the left lane is still blocked, and this is due to a collision. As you travel through Toronto on the westbound 401, you'll be going through delays from Kennedy, alternately Express hand collectors to Dixon. Northbound on the 400, it's busy from Finch to Steeles, and then traffic is jammed from the King en route to approaching Aurora Road. That's That's where the two right lanes are blocked with a collision. So you're just getting through in a left lane. That's close to an 8-kilometer backup. So consider an alternate route. It looks northbound. Looks like northbound Weston is taking most of the overflow. A little bit better northbound on Jane or northbound Keel. Northbound on the Don Valley Parkway 404. That's a busy drive from Bloor to the 401, and then from Steeles on and off to north of 16th Avenue. Eastbound 401, heavy from Dixie to Victoria Park in the Express and to Kennedy in the Collectors. A slow go in Durham, east of White's, Express and Collectors to east of Thixon. Southbound on the 404 DVP, that's a busy drive from just south of Finch to about York Mills. And westbound Gardner is jammed up from Jarvis to Strawn. Slows again as you take the ramp to the 427. Westbound QEW filling in from the 427 to west of Cawthra, Ford Drive to Trafalgar, and from Burloak to the 403 ramp in Burlington. The eastbound QEW, a slow go in Mississauga, east of Erin Mills to Dixie, and the eastbound Gardner is backed up from just east of the Humber Bridge to Dufferin. On city streets at Burnham Thorpe and the West Mall, the traffic lights are flashing red at that intersection. That's why east and westbound traffic on Burnham Thorpe is jammed. And west of Toronto, Highway 5 still closed in both directions between Millgrove and Rockchapel, and that's for a collision investigation. Highway 35 is also closed for a section north of the 115, and that's another collision investigation. Cars for Kids, the easy way to donate your car. Donate today and your car can be picked up tomorrow. Go to carsforkids.ca. That's cars with a K. And now with the forecast, here's meteorologist Rob Haswell.
All right, thank you. We're going to continue to watch the wind speeds as they will stay pretty strong for the remainder of the day today, through the night tonight, and even on into our Tuesday. Southwest tonight, averaging 20 to 40 kilometers per hour, gusting stronger than that. Tuesday, we'll see it shift to the west, but stay strong at around 20 to 40. Still a few flurries or even some rain showers in the forecast again for our Tuesday with a high near 5. Overnight tonight, we will dip down to a low near 0.
680 News Time, 4:14.
Key members of the Trump administration are heading to Greenland later this week.
Second Lady Usha Vance will visit Greenland on Thursday with an American delegation that includes National Security Advisor Mike Waltz and Secretary of Energy Chris Wright. The White House says her visit will include stops at historical sites, learning about the country's heritage, and attending Greenland's national dog sled race. But it comes as President Trump continues to say the U.S. will take control of Greenland, including this in his address to Congress this month.
We're working with everybody involved to try and get it.
Greenland's prime minister calls the trip, quote, very aggressive American pressure. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
680 News Radio, Toronto. This market update is brought to you by IG Private Wealth.
Okay, I want to divide my assets fairly. I want to make sure my kids are taken care of. Oh, and I really don't want to pay more tax. Underline that. So if I buy a lake house, how much regular house can I help my kids buy? An IG Private Wealth Advisor will help you plan for it all. Your family, your life, and your dreams. Does your financial advisor put you at the center? Meet one who will at igprivatewealth.com.
The Princess Margaret Home Lottery early bird deadline is midnight Friday. Change everything with a beautiful Muskoka Lakefront Cottage early bird prize, complete with $50,000. Plus, you'll be in to win a gorgeous Georgian Bay show home and the $9 million grand prize, an Oakville show home, and $500,000. Early bird deadline is midnight Friday. Ticket to fund life-saving cancer research. Carry the fire. Buy now at PrincessMargaretLotto.com. Play responsibly. Raffle number 1426743.
Toronto's trusted news. 680 News Radio.
The sun trying to come out downtown. 4 degrees right now. Good afternoon. I'm Laura Carney.
I'm Alex Bloomfield. Here are the top stories this hour.
Taxes and trade among the main talking points on the first full day of the federal election campaign. The party leaders have just 5 weeks to get their message out to voters. Election Day, April 28th. The iconic Canadian department store Hudson's Bay has started liquidating its stores. Shoppers getting a jump on the discounted items. Empty shelves and racks already being reported in some locations. And provincial police have released a picture of a white tanker truck with blue and yellow logo as a vehicle of interest as they continue to investigate the death of a pedestrian on the 407 near McCowan Road.
Time now for sports.
And from Sportsnet 590 The Fan, here's Alex Sixero.
Laura Allen Roden has made the Blue Jays opening day roster, and Sportsnet Shai Davidi says he has a skill set the team really likes.
High on base guy, good contact,
smart at bats, makes good adjustments, hits different kinds of pitching, able to get the barrel to all kinds of different, all different spots of the zone. It's just a good, really good toolkit that works for the Jays.
And the Jays open the season Thursday when they host the Orioles at Rogers Center. Jays have workout days tomorrow and Wednesday. Leafs head coach Craig Berube running a pretty intense practice in Etobicoke today, coming off Saturday's loss in Nashville. Scott Laughton moves to third-line wing tomorrow when his former team, the Flyers, come to town. 4 games in the NHL tonight, including Vancouver in New Jersey. 11 games to go as the Raptors hit the road for Washington this evening, and Sportsnet 1 has the game at 7. Raptors holding the 7th best draft odds at the moment. And let's get to the round of 32 in the NCAA women's basketball tournament. 2 winners today as the number 1 Texas moving on. They beat Illinois 65-48, NC State an 83-49 win over Michigan State. Right now in the first quarter, number 3 Oklahoma leading Iowa 14-11. Sports at 15 and 45 past every hour or anytime at sportsnet.ca.
680 News Time, 4:18.
If you've built or substantially renovated a home or condominium in the last 2 years, you could be eligible for tax-free government rebates of up to $24,000. Access Rebates can help you access government rebates, regardless of your income or property value. Trust Access Rebates, the industry experts with over 20 years of experience. Whether you have completed or are planning a home construction project, learn what rebates you're eligible for at accessrebates.ca.
Remember when Dad tried to get me into soccer?
Yes, he tried. You could barely kick the ball, and Dad would just laugh and say, "It's okay, you're just warming up for next season."
But then, my first goal, he yelled, "That's my boy!" When he was here, he made everything feel like a win.
In every small memory, a story lives on forever. ArborMemorial.ca. Every life remembered.
680 News Time, 4:19. Should the city take down American flags? 680's Momin Qureshi is finding out.
One of the most patriotic symbols a country has is its flag, and the mayor doesn't want the Star-Spangled Banner flying above any city-owned property. She wants them taken down.
If we have control over some of the land, we sometimes don't, because some of the American flags are on property that are governed by a board of directors.
There's actually only a handful of city properties that have American flags, including the Leaside Memorial Community Gardens. That's where I found Rob wearing his Canada hat on the way in to play a game of shinny, telling me this is a move he supports.
I agree. I think it's a patriotic thing to do, and I think at this point we're in an existential crisis in Canada, unfortunately, due to one person, and I think we need to sort of stand together and show our unity.
In Leaside, I'm Momin Qureshi.
In 60 seconds, traffic and your extended forecast. 680 News Time, 4:20.
It's the News Radio Home and Auto 101 report, powered by TD Insurance.
Here's Richard Detman.
If you've been in an automobile accident, you know that when it's time to submit an insurance claim on your vehicle, it can often be a daunting task. But, as is standard with the times now, there's an app for that. TD Insurance has an insurance app that may help streamline the claims process and make things a little easier. With photo-based estimation, you can take pictures of your auto accident damage and upload to complete your claim submission, which can help speed up the assessment. And if you use a preferred vendor, the app also lets you track the status and receive updates on your claim repair, letting you know when your vehicle is ready to pick up.
The News Radio Home and Auto 101 report.
Powered by TD Insurance. Download the TD Insurance app. That's unexpectedly easy insurance. Learn more at tdinsurance.com.
680 News Time, 4:21. Time for Rogers Xfinity Internet traffic and weather together on the ones. Here's Carrie Prunskis.
This report is brought to you by 407 ETR. I'm just looking at a new problem. It's on the eastbound 401 ramp to Yonge. The left lane is now blocked, and this is due to a stalled truck. It's being hooked up to a heavy tow. But in the meantime, you'll be going through delays on the eastbound 401, Dixie and the collectors to the 427 ramps, and then it's a slow go from the 427 to Victoria Park in the Express. Express. Delays keep going to about Kennedy in the collectors, and then a slow go east of White's Express and collectors to east of Fixon. Northbound on the 400 approaching Aurora Road, 2 right lanes are still blocked with a collision, and that is causing a very heavy backup from the King en route. Westbound on the 401, the collision approaching the Allen and the Express, that's cleared. Through the GTA, westbound 401 is busy west of Brock Street to Salem, from Kennedy, alternately Express and collectors to Dixon, then from Dixie to the 410 in the collectors, and slow from James Snow Parkway to west of Highway 25. Southbound on the 400, that gets busy as you approach Shepherd onto the 401 ramps. It's slow on the southbound 404 DVP from just south of Finch to York Mills. And westbound Gardner is backed up from Jarvis to just west of Strawn. Slows again, Kipling and the collectors onto the 427 ramp. And then busy northbound 427 from the Gardner to the 401 and the Express, and from the 409 to Rexdale. On city streets at Burnhamthorpe and the West Mall, the traffic lights are flashing red. So eastbound Burnhamthorpe is jammed from Renforth. You'll find delays westbound from the East Mall. And be very careful at that intersection. Remember to treat it as an all-way stop. In Hamilton, Highway 5 is still closed between Millgrove and Rock Chapel. All lanes closed for a collision investigation. Enjoy stress-free travel on Highway 407 ETR. Create a My account today. Visit 407etr.com. And with the extended forecast, here's Rob Haswell.
All right, thank you very much. We are going to continue windy for tonight and into Tuesday. Southwest wind 20 to 40 kilometers per hour tonight. Likely shifting west for Tuesday, again 20 to 40 kilometers per hour. Still a chance for a few rain or snow showers tonight and Tuesday. Tuesday's high near 5. Flurries still in the forecast Wednesday, high near 3. Should get up to 8 on Thursday with some sunshine for the first half of the day. Then it gets pretty cloudy late in the day and overnight. Rain returns to the forecast Friday, and as we cool from a Friday high near 4, we'll likely see some freezing rain Friday night into Saturday morning. We'll have to be on the lookout for that for any travelers heading into the weekend. In the meantime, watch out for the wind. It is gusting fairly strongly. We'll dip to an overnight low near 0.
Coming up at 4:30, the latest on the first full day of the federal election campaign, where the party leaders are and what promises are already being made. 680 News Time, 424.
Rogers Xfinity Internet is ready for everything, so you can search and stream and shop and study and share and play and post and work and watch and game and work out and download and... Wow, that's a lot. And now you can save a lot, too, at the Rogers Spring Event. Visit in-store or Rogers.com and save on Canada's most reliable internet. Get Rogers Xfinity Internet and be ready to do more everything.
Okay, flights on Air Canada. How about Prague?
Ooh, Paris. Those gardens.
Gardens. Amsterdam. Tulip Festival.
I see your festival and raise you a carnival in Venice.
Or Bermuda has Carnival.
Ooh, colorful.
You want colorful? Thailand. Lantern Festival? Boom.
Book it. How did we get to Thailand from Prague?
Oh, right. Prague.
Oh, boy.
Choose from a world of destinations, if you can. Air Canada. Nice travels.
If you're heading to Rogers Centre this week, you'll notice something new in the outfield. 680's Simon Bennett got to check it out.
Introducing Club 328 at Rogers Centre in the right field corner. They've made right next to the visitors' bullpen a nice little lounge area. You can see right onto the field. Incredible sight lines. Lots of great food. Tickets are available on packages, single games on a select level for around $100 each. They say they are selling well. Club 328 in the right field corner ahead of the Jays home opener, which is Thursday against Baltimore. Reporting from Rogers Centre, I'm Simon Bennett.
It's another week with earlier closing times for subway service on the Yonge side of Line 1. The TTC says they'll begin each night at 11 o'clock.
There will be no subway service on the portion of Line 1 between Finch and Eglinton stations. This is due to some planned track work going on in that area. Shuttle buses will be operating, and extra Wheel-Trans service will be on hand for anyone who needs it. Just make sure to see a TTC staff member for any assistance. And Lawrence and North York Centre stations will be closed, but all other stations will remain open during this subway closure. And this closure will take place each night this week up until Friday.
Morning start times won't be affected. Coming up in 60 seconds, the Market Minute, 680 News Time, 426.
This portion of 680 News Radio is brought to you by Dodd's Garage Doors.
Spring is here, and so are the savings at Dodd's Garage Doors. Save up to $1,000 on Dodd's Garage Doors, the most reviewed, best reviewed, highest rated garage doors on the market. Upgrade your home with our exclusive Canadian Series garage doors. Now is the time to buy Canadian and save big. Don't wait. Call now, because your chance to save up to $1,000 ends April 30th at Dodd's Garage Doors. Proudly Canadian since 1958.
DODDS. No one does it better than Dodd's does. No one.
Discover more value at Loblaws. Get family-sized chicken drumsticks or thighs for $1.99 a pound. Offer ends Wednesday, March 26th. Shop in-store or online. Conditions apply. See flyer for details. Loblaws. Proudly Canadian since 1919.
Funerals aren't your thing? Simple Choice Cremation is your answer for a caring, worry-free cremation. No frills, no fuss, no worries. SimpleChoiceCremationToronto.ca.
Now the Dynamic Funds Market Minute. Here's Richard Detman.
Canada's benchmark stock index ended the day with a gain of 1.3%. The TSX rising 336 points to 25,304. Among today's gainers, Galaxy Digital up 8%, Aritzia 5% along with Shopify, Celestica up 4% along with Brookfield Asset Management, and Lundin Mining was up 3% among many gainers. On Wall Street, the Dow was up 1.4%, 598 points. The S&P up 100, 1.75%, and the Nasdaq was up 405 points, a gain of 2.25%.
Investors seem relieved that President Trump's tariffs may be more targeted and not as broad. Equity strategists at J.P. Morgan Chase, Morgan Stanley, and Evercore ISI are even advising their clients the worst of the recent downturn may be behind them. Coffee prices are percolating again, topping $4 a pound before retail, as fresh reporting from Arabica coffee growing regions in Brazil say output both this year and next could be impacted by unusually hot and dry weather over the past few weeks. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
The dollar gained 16/100ths to 69.85 cents U.S. Oil up 97 cents, 69.25 a barrel. Gold down $8 to $3,014 an ounce. The big telecom companies could be indirectly affected by the U.S.-Canada trade war, according to one analyst. Jerome Dubray at Desjardins says he would not be surprised if one of them reported no net additions of customers in their latest quarter, or even a decline. He cites negative pressure on the overall economy, such as the slowdown in immigration. At the Business Center, I'm Richard Detman.
Markets always present challenges. Good advice and active management turn challenges into opportunities. Visit dynamic.ca/advice to learn more.
Air Transat presents two friends on vacation in Italy.
Well, it's almost time to pack up and go home.
But we just got here.
We've been here for 2 weeks.
Seriously?
Yeah, we've been to 5 museums, visited 4 churches, made pasta from scratch, done a food tour and a bike tour, and had a private opera class with a famous mezzo-soprano.
Wow, time really flies by.
With direct round-trip flights to Europe starting at $549 with carry-on baggage and a meal included, you don't want to let this offer fly by. Conditions apply. Air Transat. Travel moves us.
Rogers Xfinity Internet is ready for everything, so you can search and stream and shop and study and share and play and post and work and watch and game and work out and download and... Wow, that's a lot. And now you can save a lot, too, at the Rogers Spring Event. Visit in-store or Rogers.com and save on Canada's most reliable internet. Get Rogers Xfinity Internet and be ready to do more everything.
Right now downtown, mostly cloudy and 3 degrees. 680 News Time, 4:30.
Number 1 for breaking news, traffic, and weather. 680 News Radio, Toronto.
This is Monday, March 24th. Good afternoon. I'm Alex Bloomfield.
And I'm Laura Carney. Here's what's making news this hour.
From cutting taxes to building homes, federal party leaders are making promises to voters as they hit the hustings on their first full day of campaigning in the federal election.
From housing and rent supplements to transit and building infrastructure, the mayor talks about what she would like to see for Toronto from the candidates in the federal election.
Hudson's Bay liquidation sales begin.
Yeah, we got a good deal. I would say 60%.
You can use your gift cards, but not your loyalty points.
A Muslim woman shares her terrifying story after an unprovoked attack inside the Ajax Public Library on the weekend. There are calls for the suspect to be charged with a hate crime.
The Leafs hit the practice ice with the Flyers in town tomorrow. The Raptors head to Washington on night 2 of a back-to-back. And we're just 3 days away from Blue Jays baseball. Sports at 45.
The Trump administration still hasn't made a final decision on whether entire sectors will be hit. TSX rallying 335 points today. The Dow 597. NASDAQ gained more than 2%. Business at 56.
680 News Time, 431.
Time for Rogers Xfinity Internet, traffic and weather together on the ones. Brought to you by Martin Daniel Interiors. In the 680 traffic cruiser, Kyle Hawking.
Well, it's a busy drive. Good afternoon, and there are a few problems out there sprinkled in. On the eastbound 401, right at the start of the ramp to Yonge Street, left lane is blocked due to a stalled transport. Heavy tow is working on it, so that ramp, at least at the start, is reduced to a single right lane. It is busy first east of the 410 collectors to the 427 ramps, and then slow going 427 to Victoria Park Express to Kennedy collectors. Just be mindful if you're exiting at Yonge Street. Volume through Durham region, White's Express and collectors to east of Thixon, and slow on the westbound 401, 412 to Salem, Victoria Park, alternately Express and collectors to Dixon. From south of Pearson to the 410 in the collectors, and James Snow to west of Highway 25. From the 680 Traffic Center, Carrie Prunskis.
And northbound 400 still completely jammed here from the King en route to approaching Aurora Road. That's where the 2 right lanes are blocked with a collision. That's close to a 9-kilometer
The main talking points.
680's Parliament Hill reporter Cormac McSweeney joins us with the latest.
We'll start off in Montreal, where NDP leader Jagmeet Singh vows to build 100,000 rent-controlled homes across Canada by 2035.
Everywhere there's federal land, we want to see homes being built that are affordable.
In Brampton, Conservative leader Pierre Poilievre promises a middle-class tax cut by reducing the lowest income tax bracket by 2.25%.
This is a tax cut that will put Canada first.
Meanwhile, Liberal leader Mark Carney in Gander, Newfoundland, where thousands of Americans were stranded during 9/11. He spoke about the deep ties of our two countries and the need to get through this trade war. He had no specific new policy announcement, but when asked why he hasn't spoken to President Trump since taking office, Carney says Trump is waiting for the outcome of the election before engaging. We're also learning today that the leaders' debates in French and English will be held April 16th and 17th in Montreal. Cormac McSweeney, Parliament Hill.
680 News Time, 4:35. Mayor Leah Chow is rolling out Toronto's wish list for any federal leader willing to listen. 680's Momin Qureshi joins us from City Hall.
With the federal election campaign now in full swing, Mayor Olivia Chow says she's around if any of the federal leaders want to sit down and have a conversation about Toronto's wants and needs in this campaign. She says what the city is looking for is pretty obvious.
Pretty straightforward. Build more homes faster. Right? Build more affordable, supportive home faster. Feed more kids and get public transit moving, get Toronto moving. TTC. We need better TTC services. And get some infrastructure done. So those are straightforward things that we need.
She says she'd also like to see more money for rent supplements to help people try to find more permanent housing quickly, and possibly some extra dollars for when Toronto hosts the FIFA World Cup next year. I'm Oman Qureshi.
680 News Time, 436. Hudson's Bay has begun liquidating all but 6 of its stores. 680's Phil Martino joins us live from the Fairview Mall location with more on the closure and just how big the discounts are for shoppers. Phil.
Well, Laura, the sale signs are up all over Hudson's Bay and Fairview Mall. We're seeing 20%, 30, 40, and 50% off. There are lineups in the shoe department where shoppers are looking for different sizes, and there are lineups at the cash register. Toronto resident Vita is among the shoppers coming to check out the sales and looking for a bargain.
I'm so sad that they're closing. I heard that there's a huge liquidating sale, so we're just getting here now and excited to see what the sales are.
Karen is here with her husband, and she was able to snag a deal.
Well, as I say, we heard it on the radio. We knew that this was one of the stores that was liquidating, aside from the 6 that are remaining. And we needed pillows, so we came for pillows.
Did you get a good deal?
Yeah, we got a good deal. I would say 60%.
Now, the company is hoping to wrap this liquidation up by June 15th. All sales will be final at the liquidation stores. Reporting live from Fairview Mall, I'm Phil Martino.
680 News Time, 4:37. OPP say a pedestrian is dead after being struck on the 407 in Markham. Sergeant Kerry Schmidt says it happened around 6 this morning in the westbound lanes near McCowan Road.
The person was transported to hospital but was pronounced deceased, 53-year-old man.